Let me see. Okay, now my first question is this. I gotta ask you now, where are you originally from?
I'm Brooklyn, New York, Bed-Stuy.
Wow, okay, okay. Now I
They
can
shot
ask you,
my neigh-
say that again.
I said they shot Sonny Carson in my neighborhood.
Right, right. Now that's kind of what I wanted to get into, in
Mhm.
terms of film and acting. Did you have any experience prior to that, or?
Just started acting maybe a year ago, year before that. When
Oh, okay.
because I dropped out of high school to go join Amiri Baracka in Jersey, Leroy Jones organization. When I came back, I was 17. Had to get back in school. The judge told me that. The judge told me school, the military, or jail. I said, well, let me try school. So I went to a storefront on Bedford Avenue, and I think it was Jefferson, and that I passed probably 1,000 times. I never knew it was in there, and that was a small school, and they had an acting group in there. And the first day I went there, I saw this acting group, and I knew right then and there that that's what I was supposed to do. It filled my heart with something, because I was a musician as the earliest. So I was used to entertaining people, but that stopped. But that just filled my heart. So that's when I started acting.
Oh, okay. Wow, that's cool. What type of music were you doing?
Excuse me.
What, can you hear me? What type of music were you doing at that time?
Play bass guitar, R&B. I guess you would call it the chitlin circuit. I was 13, 14, posing as 18, to get in clubs. I played the RKO. I played with a band called the group that did Tighten Up. I didn't play with them, was on the same bill with them when they were hot. I did a lot of different things. But then one of our band leader, a lot of drugs in that whole situation. My band leader got strung out and stole all our equipment, and I stopped.
Oh, okay. Wow, that's crazy. You had mentioned Amiri Baracka earlier and going to Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
Did you actually get to interact with him?
Oh, big time, man. Yeah, yeah. Um,
Wow.
the first, matter of fact, the first time I really met him personally, it was like a military thing, and so we was online. He was coming down and introducing, and I've been a meat eater all my life up until then, and they were like not vegetarians, but they didn't eat meat. They eat fish and stuff, and I was trying to figure that out. And the first time I saw him, I was so dizzy from not eating my regular way that I fainted. You know, and then somebody carried me upstairs to his office. But I've been interacting with him. I stayed there about a year. Stayed there about a year. So we did interact. Um, they had a drama workshop class, performing department. I never made it into that. I wanted to, but it was whole bunch of rhetoric that I had to learn before I do that. And some of it didn't really touch my heart. So I didn't really learn it. And so I couldn't do that part. So I just had to stay. And they call it a Kobe, which meant turtle I forgot in an African language. And so I remained a turtle for my duration of the stay there. You get to be a lion, Simba, they had ranks. I never made it up the rank. So but that I was cool with that because that wasn't my destiny.
Yeah, definitely, man. I mean, that's a phenomenal experience. At least you got to even, go out there and give it a try and interact with, he's a giant. I mean, to my understanding, he's like the father of the Black Arts movement. He was a part of that wave of,
Part of that.
that poetry and then what is it, the
Mhm.
Spirit House movers, them poems and
Right.
banging on the drums and everything, man.
Yeah, he was strong in that.
Yeah,
Big
yeah.
a
They
lot
said,
of him. Sonny Carson was part of that
mm-hmm.
whole crew. And I met Sonny Carson when I was, I guess, about 14 when I met him, not through acting anything like that. They ran his organization, ran a a school that in the summertime, gave kids jobs, to the city. So I got to check to the city to go there, and that's how I first met Sonny Carson. But I didn't really, we talked for a moment, once or twice, just being a kid, but I didn't really get to know him until later on in life. So I was about 18. And that was a whole nother experience too. That was pretty deep.
Wow, wow.
Meaning that one of the ways in order to fund his organization, um, I remember he marched us. I think it's called the AMP, if I remember the grocery store. And so it's like, we like maybe 100 deep of kids from school because we all dressed up in a dashiki. The city is paying for this. And I guess he demanded, Sonny Carson demanded money from the organization, the AMP, and the organization, they looked out there, saw, 100 kids, this looking disciplined and dressed in a dashiki. And, and I guess he got the money. But there's a lot of experiences I had growing up in Bed-Stuy.
Wow, that's amazing. Now I can ask you about that because I'm from Cleveland, Ohio, but like the rest of the world, Brooklyn have a certain reputation. And by you being originally from there, what was it like growing up at that time, and how do you look at Brooklyn today?
Well, Brooklyn today is a whole nother Brooklyn. I don't know it. When I go back, I don't know it. Some of my family still got property there. But I remember I went back, this is like early on, this might have been like in the 90s. I went back and to visit my cousin, and we sitting in my cousin's yard, and he said, look at that, look at that, look at that, watch that guy right there. So it was a black dude getting out of the car. He would knock on every door and he would ask, who would you like to, sell your property? And then he would jump in the car of this white dude. Yeah. He said, they're trying to buy up all the properties. And this was in the 90s. And 10 years later, that's basically what was happening. At least 25% of the properties are owned by different people other than us. So it was deep. But growing up in Brooklyn was rough. And it's all in the mindset, I believe. And because of my situation at home, I early on, about 14, 15, I got a street mindset. So, I wanted to escape home. So I hung out in the street a lot. I did the things that the kids did. At 14, I did sell drugs and stuff like that. And I was in I had contacts because I was confused. I didn't know. Um, and it was rough. Me and some of my friends that are doing very well, very successful men, just talk about that we made it through. Because a lot of our guys that we grew up were either in jail, um, dead, they didn't, or just messed up, living a terrible life. But we made it through. And one of the ways that helped me personally make it through was the things we just talked about, being involved with Imam Baracka. I joined the Black Panthers as a kid. I did so I was like between two worlds. Was my boys in the drug life, and what was more in my heart, I'm a servant. So helping people and helping Black people, that was more important to me, and that was what saved my life.
Definitely, definitely. I appreciate you sharing that. Um, Obviously, those experiences planted some major seeds, you know what I'm saying? And they still, sprouting and developing, even as you get older in age. Because I know for myself, even with my generation, a lot of friends I hung out with in high school and middle school, some of them did fall victim to drugs or
Mm-hmm.
the penitentiary or even, death.
Was is built for us to fall victim to it. You know what I mean? It's set up that way from elementary school. If we're not getting the same books, the same education, all those things that we should be demanding and fighting for. So it's set up that way that some of us will make it through, and a lot of people that are really just this not only smart but determined. and got some guidance will make it through the maze. But a lot of us get caught up in the maze and we don't see our children. You know, I work right now teaching drama and creative writing for a company called Spirit Awakening Foundation in juvenile halls, in juvenile camps, in high schools. So I see what's going on. Same thing that's always been going on, but it's more seems insidious to me right now because they don't know what to do with us. You know, so lock them up is the best way. Just get them out of sight, but we get us out of sight. But you know, and that's up to us too. You know, what do we do with our kids? But it's set up once they got the men, mostly in prison. A lot of them was for marijuana stuff that they shouldn't be in prison for. But once they got the men out of the family, boys ain't got no guidance, girls ain't got no guidance. That does what it does. Have people running around with no center. But I don't want to get on my high horse.
No, no, I'm really enjoying this conversation because I'm, processing what you're saying and I'm learning at the same time. It's inspiring me, if I'm blessed to make it to your age, that I can still contribute and make a difference, with the next generation. So I'm thankful for you, you
Mhm.
know. Now I can ask you. We had kind of spoke about gentrification. Now I wanted to ask you about that a little bit, if that's okay. Because,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I guess back in the day, in y'all day, you had redlining and you had white flight. So the whites was moving to the suburbs, the blacks was going
Mhm.
into the inner city. And like you say, they'll send somebody door to door to say, "You want to sell your property? You want to sell your property?" They would do that to the whites back in the day to get them
Right.
to sell to the blacks. And one black move in, then they all move out. So it's like almost the opposite, but it's still
Right.
the same like apparatus or structure or
Mhm.
machine that's kind of coming down on us, and not to mention the things that we have to deal with day to day.
Mhm. In
You know.
'69, um, while I was with Mama Baracka, we went on a field trip to I forgot what it was called, it was so long ago, but it was something that the Black Panthers put together because they got a whole of blueprints for the future of the cities, and they built models of what those cities would look like. And this was the blueprints that the system was foreseeing in the future. It didn't really include us. I mean, it was our neighborhoods, you know, but what they built didn't include us. I mean, that's why the Bronx deteriorated and nothing really was done about it back then because they knew they wanted this piece of property. It's very valuable. Get us out, kill us off, help us kill ourselves. So when I saw that as a kid, because I was 16, that wow, they're gonna take our properties away from us, and build their own thing. And now it's happening. Now it's for real.
Yeah, that's true because they have like city planning. So like a lot of us, like especially like our people we living in today, it's 2023, 24, 25. They know 2040 that it's gonna be this gonna be a mall over here, this gonna be a school district, and we just kind of living day by day. And I can ask you this, like, what is the ultimate goal, or what do you think would be more effective for us? Do we stay and fight gentrification, or do we just kind of do like maybe create a nation within a nation where we just buy like a farm and create a Black Wall Street where we have a butcher, a bakery, and we grow
Mhm.
our own milk and cows and stuff, or you know.
I mean, it's a mixture thing. I don't know if there's one answer,
Mhm.
but it's really about information. Because what they did or what happened, I don't know what they did, but what happened, one of the things that happened is the youth weren't informed. So the parents worked hard to get these properties, fought for them, built them, went through whatever they went through, in the 50s and in the 60s to get these homes. Drugs and things like that came, and so in the 80s, 90s, people said, we'll give you $200,000 to a kid whose parents just died And these kids, this is a lot of money, so they take it because they don't know the value. We don't teach that. We don't teach economics. The school ain't gonna teach it, and we don't know it. How to build wealth and security. Now, some of us do, but the majority of kids, they never learn that stuff. They never learn the value of property and insurance and what does it do to keep money 5 generations down. We don't learn that. And so that's one of the things we would have to do. You know, Me personally, you know, I don't mind living amongst other folks. I love people, period. Black, white, whatever. But I want fairness. I want my people to be treated fairly. You know, don't kill us like you're not killing yourself, your people. You know, that's what we're talking about. Give us our properties. And it's about money, it's about greed, all those things. So we got to learn how to protect ourselves financially, economically, educationally. How do we get our kids a good education that's equal or better to what the other schools are teaching the white kids?